A very good evening from wherever you're watching us from. This is Look Up News. Now we've got lots lined up for you, from politics of the day right to the corridors of justice and so much more. I am Nancy Lima. Our sign language interpreter for tonight is Josephine Oko. Before we get into all of that, here are our top stories. Tonight on Look Up News. Azimio leader RAILA lashes at U.S. Ambassador to Kenya Meg Whitman over her remarks on the August 2022 general elections. Prices of foodstuff going down, says President William Ruto, insisting his government is committed to eradicating hunger. And Uasin Gishu Senator Jackson Mandago and his two co-accused freed on 500,000 shillings cash bill each.
I consider them for bond of 2 million Kenya shillings and one short of similar amount, or cash bill of 500,000 Kenya shillings.
Welcome to the broadcast this evening. Do let us know where you're watching us from using the hashtag #LookUpNews, Lookuptv on Twitter, Lookuptv on Facebook, and Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. I will be sampling some of your feedback, so send them in using that hashtag. Let's begin. Opposition leader RAILA has castigated U.S. Ambassador Meg Whitman over remarks she made in his speech during the first day of devolution conference. Whitman praised the electoral agency IEBC for delivering a credible election, while also appearing to support the Kenya Kwanza controversial Finance Bill 2023. Odinga in his speech noted that Ambassador Meg Whitman's remarks are nothing short of an interference in Kenyan affairs, while calling on her to stay clear of the country's politics.
While addressing the devolution conference in Uasin Gishu on Thursday, opposition leader Raila Odinga expressed his dismay over the remarks made by U.S. Ambassador to Kenya Meg Whitman.
Kenya held what many analysts and commentators say was the freest, fairest, and most credible election in Kenyan history. The elections were observed by international and local election organizations, and the results were upheld by the Kenyan Supreme Court, and power was transferred orderly and peacefully at the time.
Odinga says these remarks are unfortunate and a clear indication Ambassador Meg Whitman is meddling in internal affairs of the country.
I want to tell a rogue ambassador, leave Kenyans alone. If Mandamano can lead to a dialogue between Ichungwa and Kalonzo, everything is good with Mandamano.
Azimio Premier now cautions Ambassador Whitman against interfering in Kenya's political affairs, including demonstrations, or else the opposition faction will demand her removal as U.S. Ambassador to Kenya.
Tell the rogue ambassador, Kenya is not United States. Kenya is not a colony of the United States. Keep your mouth shut when you're here. Otherwise, we will call for your recall back to your country.
Odinga also took issues with Uasin Gishu Governor Jonathan B's criticism of demonstrations. Odinga reminding the governor that the major political milestones in the country are as a result of demonstrations.
This katiba that we have is a product of maandamano. And I also want to remind that if maandamano can help families whose children were cheated or money being taken to Finland, there's nothing wrong with maandamano. What is wrong is police brutality.
On devolution, Azimio leader says government must release all functions meant for county level.
Today, fertilizers are procured and distributed by the national government. Affordable housing is being conceptualized and implemented by the national government. The government wants to build markets and employ community health workers. All these are devolved functions whose money should be released to the counties.
He also wants the National Treasury to establish mechanisms to ensure funds meant for various devolved units are disbursed expeditiously.
Funding remains inadequate and its flow uneven and unpredictable. The controller of budget and central bank need to relook at the law. The County Allocation of Revenue Act, CARA, contains a disbursement schedule. Bureaucracy at the Office of the Controller of Budget continues to hold back devolution.
Henry Tende, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Tende. And elsewhere, President William Ruto has slammed the opposition over what he termed as backtracking in regards to the state of the country's economy. Speaking in Kiambu County, the head of state called on the opposition to allow the government deliver on its agenda to the people of Kenya while castigating their never-ending demonstrations.
President William Ruto has cursed the opposition for the anti-government protests, urging citizens to boycott possible demonstrations in the future, saying that the prevailing tough situation will only be addressed through the government's project to distribute and sell subsidized fertilizers to farmers for increased and bumper harvests.
Tulikubaliana na nyinyi ya kwamba lazima tupunguze gharama ya maisha. Lazima tuangalie mambo ya kupunguza gharama ya chakula. Na nikawaeleza njia ya kupunguza gharama ya maisha sio kwenda kupatiana pesa kwa wakora kule Milas. Njia ya kushughulikia mambo ya chakula ni kusaidia mkulima, kwa sababu unga inatoka kwa mahindi. Mahindi inatoka kwa mkulima. Ama mnafikiri unga inatoka kwa duka? Kwani unga inatoka kwa duka? Si inatoka shambani? Na kama unataka kusuluhisha hiyo tatizo, lazima tuende kwa wakulima. Na ndio sababu mwaka huu serikali yenu mliotengeneza tumeweka pesa ya kutosha, tukapunguza gharama ya mbolea kwa wakulima wetu kutoka 7,000 tuliwauzia 3,500. Ile ya digital jobs ikipatikana simutafanya, na ile ya special economic zone ikipatikana simutafanya, na hii ya housing ipatikana simutafanya. Nego kana tiguo. Tunaelewana? Tutatembea pamoja hiyo safari. Ndio nimewaambia hawa jamaa wengine, nyinyi wachaneni na vijana wa Kenya.
The president has vowed to terminate all importation activities of goods and items from abroad for the benefit of Kenyans by providing employment for Kenyans in the relevant sectors.
Na tumekubaliana ya kwamba mambo ya kuagiza mali ambayo Wakenya wetu wanaweza kutengeneza itakoma. Katika hii budget tumesema mambo ya kuleta furniture kutoka China ama kuleta kutoka Ulaya, hiyo tumekomesha. Furniture itatengenezwa hapa nyumbani na vijana hawa. Mambo ya samaki, kuagiza samaki kutoka China sijui wapi, samaki itatokana kule Mombasa, na hapa Lake Victoria tutakula samaki ya Kenya.
Ruto has dismissed some arguments raised by the opposition in the ongoing dialogues with the Kenya Kwanza counterpart, revealing there is no handshake nor a shared government.
Na ndio nimesema, na mimi nataka nimshukuru huyu Kimani Ichung'wah. Huyu Kimani Ichung'wah ndio leader wetu wa majority. Nimemwambia kazi ya kule bunge, kazi ya bunge apange vizuri.
Mheshimiwa Rais, mimi sina mengi, sababu vile umesema ulinipea kazi ya kuchunga bunge, na hapo bunge nataka nikupee report. Pale sisi ndio wenye kusema, wale wengine hawezi semea hapo.
Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Lagari, for the detailed report. Now, in the corridors of justice, Uasin Gishu Senator Jackson MANDAGO was this morning arraigned before Nakuru local senior principal magistrate Alois Ndege over the Finland and Canada Overseas Education Program, which saw the embezzlement of at least 1.1 billion shillings. The former Uasin Gishu governor and two of his co-accused were, however, released on a bond of 2 million shillings with a surety of the same amount, or a cash bill of 500,000, with the trio set to return to court at a later date.
Early Thursday morning, and former Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson MANDAGO and two of his co-accused, Mesha Krono and Joshua Lele, were arraigned before Chief Magistrate Alois Ndege at Nakuru Low Courts. MANDAGO and his co-accused are alleged to have misappropriated at least 1.1 billion shillings from the Educational Trust Fund meant for students from the county to study in Canada and Finland. with the parents demanding that their funds be returned.
Moja kutoka account number 12859222778, account hiyo ikiwa ni account ya Kenya Commercial Bank kule mjini Eldoret. Mesha Krono, ni kweli ama si kweli? Mshtakiwa wa pili, ni kweli ama si kweli? Mshtakiwa wa tatu bwana Jackson Mandago. Na katika shtaka la pili, Mesha Krono, Joshua Kipkemoi Langat, mnastakiwa kwa wizi na hii ni kinyume cha sheria.
In his ruling, Chief Magistrate Alois Ndege ordered the trio to be released on cash bail, while giving further directives for the trio to return for plea taking on a later date after their co-accused Joseph Maritim is presented before court.
Accused 2, 3 and 4 that were present today, I consider them for bond of 2 million Kenya shillings and one short of similar amount, or cash bill of 500,000 Kenya shillings, 500,000 Kenya shillings, pending plea and or the arrest of the first accused person. So meanwhile, the warrant against the first accused person is still in force. It is not in dispute that all the accused persons are public officers. We take cognizance of the fact that the third accused person is the senator and a former governor. And it's not in dispute that as raised by the counsel for the accused persons, that accused number 1 and 2 are public officials, unless the prosecution did not make an objection to that. So I'll assume that that is the case. So I'll therefore maintain the bond terms. But strictly, should any of the accused persons show that they are not going to attend trial, even for a mention or a hearing, then automatically that one now we will cancel the bond term and issue a warrant of arrest.
According to Maritim's lawyer, his client was not served with any orders to appear before court in advance, noting that he will jet back into the country from Canada, with the prosecution lamenting over him being away as it will drag the case further.
The terms must ensure that the accused persons are present and that it will not be easy for them not to attend court, or failure to attend court should result in consequences that will reflect the seriousness of such a thing.
Speaking after being released, flanked by some members of parliament from Uasin Gishu, Nandi and Elgeyo Marakwet counties, Mandago vowed not to meddle with investigations.
Judiciary has their own discretion. We are politicians and we believe in the rule of law. So whatever the court has decided, we are under obligation to exactly keep that.
Ian Keitane, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Keitani. Now, the protracted land dispute between DELMONTE Kenya Limited and Kiambu and Muranga residents has escalated after residents demanded allocation of the land seating in the 1,740 acres parcel of land, following the presidential directive that the final list of the beneficiaries be submitted within 14 days. As Mevin Gitembe now reports, the locals represented by Kandara Residents Association leaders today appeared before the Lands Committee to submit their final list.
The never-ending push and pull between DELMONTE Limited Company and Kandara residents continues over the land disputes regarding a land sitting on 1,740 acres, which the residents claim was acquired illegally by the company.
I want to believe that now that we have this list and the proposals which have come from the honorable members on the floor of this committee.
Today, the locals represented by Kandara Residents Association leaders appeared before Land Committee to submit the final beneficiary list, following the presidential directive for the list of beneficiaries to be forwarded within 14 days.
Last week we had a meeting and we agreed, was it last week? I think it was on Tuesday. We agreed that the team appears before us so that they can table the list of the Kandara residents who are supposed to be the beneficiaries, an harmonized list actually, just to underline that word, harmonized list ambao ni moja, so that we can, for onward transmission to the other agencies who are handling this matter. Just give us the way forward once we have an agreement as directed again by the president. He pronounced himself that once we get a solution to this, because we're going to process this further.
It has been more than 35 years since the settling of the land dispute process began, with the squatters having every reason to smile, hoping to be compensated soon, as the committee promised the residents to do whatever they can to see them being compensated.
Kongamano hili la wabunge kuonyeshana ya kwamba mambo yote ni sawa. Asanteni.
Names which, as you've heard, were generated by the group that is seated here from the villages which I mentioned. That's Madarau, Umoja, Gashagi, Lower Gatanga, Makenji, and Upper Gatanga. So this is the list, and we want to say that we've admitted it. Now it becomes a property of the committee for processing and onward transmission to various offices.
Mevin Getembe, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Now, the Senate Committee on Labor and Social Welfare is investigating another scandal in Uasin Gishu County, where First Choice Consultancy Agency is accused of defrauding unsuspecting Kenyans thousands of shillings with the promise of securing them jobs in Qatar. Appearing before the committee, victims of the scandal broke down in tears, narrating their ordeal, with some saying they have suffered depression after being scammed.
Nikang'ang'ana, nikajinyima, nikaenda nikachukua loan 400,000 nikapea kijana mwenye alikuwa ametoka Kisii University, Lawrence Nzuki, na yeye naye mwenyewe akang'ang'ana kwa mtumba akaongeza some amount, tukalipa kwa Judith Chepchirchir. It is now 2 years since nimelipa hii pesa. Kweli kama mama nimeumia kulipa hii pesa. Hooking, somebody mwenye anajua life ya hoka, it is so painful. Mvua inakunyeshea, jua inakupiga, yote unang'ang'ana. This a loan that I took from Family Bank, nikalipa Judith Chepchirchir, na nimejaribu kumfikia lakini ni shida.
Kwetu tuko watu wanne, mimi ndio first born na with a single parent. Mimi nikaa baba ya watoto wengine. Ama ndugu zangu ni wale walikutana wote kwa darasa moja. Last year walikuwa wanafanya form 4 wote. Walikuwa wameshikana wote. Like sasa mimi nilikuwa kama mzazi, mimi nikaa kila kitu kwao. Walikuwa wananitakia mazuri nitoke, at least nikilia school fees nifanye anything nyumbani. Kurudi nyumbani nimekaa na hawa nikaambiwa kuna kazi imetokea ya security, imekataa kuja fanya cashier, sababu ya cashier ndio wanaenda trip ya kwanza. Nikakuja tena, kukuja ni pesa, kuandika CV ni pesa. Hao ndio wanakuandikia CV. CV nilikuwa naandikiwa na 1,000.
Na huyo mama ukimwambia, anakuambia that's not my problem. Na tuliletea pesa zetu ikiwa cash. Sasa I was planning, nilikuwa nataka nijaribu ya Canada. Kufika huko kuambiana, mamangu ni strict. Yeye anajua, senator anajua. Mwamba anakuambia, oh, nataka kurudisha pesa town. Nilikuwa nimepata opportunity niende. Sasa niko stranded sai. Sai niko hapa town, watoto wangu wanateseka nyumbani.
Nililipia mtoto wakisema anaenda UK. Mara wanamuita aende Nairobi atimitiane. Mimi sina mse. Aliaka. Ninang'ang'ana. Ninamlipia, nililipa 250. Lakini hakuna siku mtoto ameenda. Hiyo ndio nasikia uchungu sana.
Mwanzo babangu aliuza ng'ombe karibu 3 ndo nipelekwe shule. Ndo nipelekwe nifanye hiyo caregiving in UK. So tukakuwa tunaitishwa pesa, alafu process tukiuliza wanatuambia tu wana postpone tukiuliza the first lot, because I was among the 4th lot. We were around 5 lots, but I was in the 4th lot. Now we gave out 240,000 in cash.
Right, and that is the second scandal in Uasin Gishu County we're keeping an eye on, and we'll bring you up to speed with the latest as it unfolds. Right now we take a very short break here on the program, but when we come back, more stories on the other side, including a lot of sporting action.
Realize your home ownership dream by investing in Brookvale Tuala, a magnificent prime residential property located in Ongata Rongai. Brookvale Tuala by Safaricom Investment Cooperative overlooks the majestic Ngong Hills and lies only 24 kilometers from Nairobi CBD. The project boasts of well-serviced plots with a perimeter wall, graded roads and a borehole. 50 by 100 plots are going for 1.4 million shillings with a flexible payment plan of up to 6 months. To book your plot, call 0729 121212 today. Safaricom Investment Cooperative, the investment partner of choice.
Infinity Industrial Park is one of the largest private industrial parks located along Eastern Bypass, Nairobi, which provides modern infrastructure for smooth operations for industries and business enterprises. Infinity Industrial Park offers world-class amenities and facilities with wide roads, a police station, a power substation, fire station, public transport stage, hospital, and shopping mall. In addition, Infinity Industrial Park also offers CCTV cameras, 24-hour private armed security patrol, sewer, water, fiber optic cable, and 3-phase power connection, added to public utility, canteen, and dining areas. Sail on the golden opportunity to invest in Infinity Industrial Park fully serviced warehouses at a special price of 3,569 Kenyan shillings per square foot. For more inquiries, visit our website infinityindustrialpark.com.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Lookuptv. This is Lookup News. Nancy Nalima here and Josephine Uko on the sign language interpretation. Let's continue. Dana Naliaka, the suspect accused of murdering Kilifi County Chief Officer, will continue to be held at the Malindi GK prison. The suspect behind the murder of Rahab Karisa was today arraigned before Malindi Chief Magistrate James Monike. However, the case was postponed with a hearing and ruling set for August 31st.
A new date has been set for the hearing of the murder of a Kilifi chief officer, Rahab Karisa. The accused person, Diana Naliaka, was today arraigned before the Malindi Court's chief magistrate, James Moniki. The chief magistrate postponed the hearing to the 31st of August, where the suspect will be issued with a lawyer by the director of the judiciary, with the judge expected to give a verdict on the case.
Utasomewa haya mashtaka wakati mwingine mbele ya jaji mkuu kwenye mahakama kuu, ambapo utapewa mwelekeo kuhusu kusikizwa kwa kesi yako na pia mwelekeo kuhusu dhamana yako. Hii kesi pia itawasilishwa mbele ya msajili wa mahakama ambaye atakutafutia wakili wa kukuwakilisha wewe, na itatajwa tarehe 31 mwezi wa 8 mwaka huu mbele ya msajili wa mahakama. Umenielewa?
Hadassa Christel, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Hadassah. Now to some politics. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua now says the United Democratic Party, UDA, is building and strengthening its structures for an ideology-centered political party. Speaking when he hosted the Chinese ambassador to Kenya, Zhu Pingjian, at the current residence on Thursday morning, Gachagua noted that most political parties in Kenya collapsed after general elections, insisting that the UDA party has to be founded on an ideology that will outlive the current administration.
Current residents. In the meeting, Deputy Gachagua and Zhou highlighted similarities between the Chinese Communist Party and UDA, with Gachagua noting that the ruling Kenya Party was aiming to borrow a leaf from the Chinese ruling party.
We were happy to receive your officials
from the ruling party. And we developed a partnership because now the CPC and UD are ruling parties. So we are one. And we think we should form some good partnership. I did request your delegation to consider us as your small brother, because we are a young party. Our party is hardly 1 year old. This party was formed a few months before the general election in 2022. It is undoubtedly the party of the future. It's a party that is popular across the whole country. It's a very democratic party. We allow internal democracy to thrive within the party. We let everybody do what you want, to say what you want, but we want to develop that party like the CPC, a party for a century. And we are asking for your hand as our brothers to hold our hand so that you can help us nurture our democracy. Again, we want to ask the CPC to help us to develop capacity, to train our people on how to manage a political party, how to develop the philosophy, how to build on our manifesto. So there is a lot we can learn from China. So when our Secretary General told me that the Central Committee has invited us to visit China, I was very happy, because we want to learn. How is it that a party is so strong, is even stronger than government? It's really, we want to learn. So I'm very eager to come to China and spend some time to learn. We would want our UDA party to be as strong as the CPC.
The ambassador noted the importance of coordination and training sessions for the staff in realizing the success of the political party. According to the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, the majority of political parties in Kenya have collapsed after general elections due to the failure of the parties being founded on an ideology that will outlive the current political situations. Faith Bonareri, Lookuptv.
Let's now get sporty. Athletics Kenya President retired Lieutenant General Jackson Tuwei is the new World Athletics Deputy President after he was elected at the 54th World Athletics Congress in Budapest, Hungary. Tuwei garnered 104 votes, while Sebastian Coe retained his presidency unopposed. Al Hilal SC of Libya has arrived in Nairobi in preparation for their CAF Confederation Cup first preliminary round against the FKF Cup champions Kakamega Homeboys. The match is scheduled to be played on Saturday at Nyayo National Stadium. And Chris Shah is the winner of the Kenya Junior STROKEPLAY Championship held at the Muthaiga Golf Club in Nairobi. Shah won the tournament by one stroke at the end of the grueling 4 rounds. Michael Kihara and Ewan Van finished second and third respectively.
I just started making mistake after mistake after mistake, and then Mikhail guys, they're good players, so they'll capitalize, and then they came, and then yeah, I just had to keep my head down. After hole 14, hole 15, I came back, so after that it was fine, but it should have been much easier than I made it.
I definitely didn't hit anything off center in that front 9. I actually missed it left, saved par, and then brought it back to level. But after that, with the triple, double, and then bogey, I think he basically had gone with it, but I said it's not over till it's over, so just kept it going and saying that 6 is not a lot of shots, as you saw in the back 9. So, yeah. But bringing it back, I mean, I started making the putts because I kept missing greens, but now I made the par putts, and then he, I think, felt a bit of the pressure, but brought it back on 15, which was good to see. And I love the competition, man.
I had nothing to lose. I was chasing, which was very comfortable for me. And unfortunately, I started with a bad round on the first day. So I just said I might as well attack and just go for it. And there's nothing to lose. So I came back. The tactic worked.
And we've come to the end of the broadcast this evening. Legally Speaking will be coming back next Thursday. I know if you're wondering what's up, it'll be coming back next week. Just to sample some of your feedback before I sign out, Kennedy Jumba Aserigo says, watching live from Likuyani. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. James Kenya says, we all know nothing is going to happen to MANDAGO. The rich never get prosecuted. Kenya Sihami. So this is in relation to the story about Senator Jackson MANDAGO, who was arraigned this morning following the Finland-Canada scandal. And Jan Malel Hersen says he's watching from Kapsabet. Thank you so much. And Elfason Early, Mombasa Nawapata. Tunashukuru. And thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and keep it right here on Lookuptv. Let's continue engaging across all our social media platforms. Lookuptv on Twitter, Lookuptv on Facebook, and Lookuptv on our YouTube channel. I am Nancy Limer, and our sign language interpreter for tonight has been Josephine Ouko. Have yourselves a pleasant evening. Good night.